Well, greetings, everyone. This is Deborah with the Impeccable Notary Services, LLC. We are a mobile notary company based out of Maryland. Welcome to the channel, and thank you very much for liking, sharing, and subscribing. Today, I thought it would be interesting if we talked a little bit about the history of the notary. Most people don't know the origins, basically, of how the notary public came about. And while I'm talking about the notary public, let me just say that it is two words, notary and then public, not notary republic. It's not a republic. It's notary and then public. All right. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get started. Again, please like, share, and subscribe. We are really building our channel, and I am encouraging small business owners to support the channel so that we can highlight your business, spotlight your business, and at the same time help grow my business. Okay, we're all in this thing together. So I found that that was the best way to go about it. We'll also be doing some interviews with some other notary publics, as well as some other business owners who want to talk about their business. Okay. So with that being said, sorry for the noise. Let's get started. All right. So the first thing I want to do, here we go, is share. There we go. All right, lovely. So here we have basically where it all began, the history of notary public. All right, and let's get this started. All right, so the origins of notaries can be traced back to ancient Egypt. Who's surprised about that? A time when making records, official transactions became important to humanity. The following are a few snapshots of how notaries and notarization played a key role in the development of governments, commerce, and organized society. And while I'm at it, I also want to make sure I give the National Notary Association credit because this is also on their website as well. Alrighty, so let's get started. If my mouse would want to, there we go. So, ancient Egypt, 2750 to 2250 BC. Ancient Egyptian sesh or scribes, which I'm sure a lot of you have heard of the scribes back in biblical days. So Egypt also had their own scribes. And they were established in the Old Kingdom and were the earliest known chroniclers of official communications in recorded history. I'm guessing this is probably not true because there's a lot of, I won't say it's not true. I will say that, um, all right, we'll just leave it at that because there's a lot of stories and inscriptions in caves and things like that. So, anyway, scribes made up an entire level of the ancient Egyptian bureaucracy. Personal letters, official proclamations, tax records, and other documents all went through their hands. The recording of events was so highly valued that Pharaoh, and I hope I don't mess this name up, Tutankhamun were Tutankhamun even included writing equipment in his tomb for the afterlife. Hopefully this is not boring. I just thought it was interesting. The true ancestors of notaries were born in the Roman Empire. Many regard history's first notary to be a Roman slave named Tiro, who developed a shorthand system which he called note for taking down the speeches of the famed orator Cicero. Other witnessing stenographers came to be known as notari and scribes or scribe. As literacy was not widespread, the notary or notarius, as they were called, served to prepare contracts, wills, and other important documents for a fee. As the Roman Empire grew and literacy increased, demand for the notary also increased. So that was for the Roman Empire portion of it. So Order of the Knights Templar, 1099 to 1307. The Knights Templar were a monastic military order formed at the end of the First Crusade with the mandate of protecting Christian pilgrims en route to the Holy Land. From humble beginnings, within 2 centuries, they have become powerful enough to defy all but the papal throne and created the modern system of banking, mortgages, and loans. The clergy of the order were highly educated and became the critically important notaries for all Templar business, official documents, orders, and proclamations. Oops. What did I do there? Okay. All right. Notaries public in England, 13th and 14th centuries. Notaries were not introduced into England until later in the 13th and 14th centuries as English common law developed separately from most of the influences of Roman law. Notaries were often appointed by the papal legate or the Archbishop of Canterbury, and in those early days, many were members of the clergy. Of course, I'm sorry, over the course of time, members of the clergy ceased to involve themselves in secular business. Thus, laymen in towns and trading centers began to assume the official character and functions of a modern notary. And it gets interesting because you'll see here that's sort of like the beginning of how it was kind of divvied out to the public and people at this point, people like me. Notaries in the conquest of Columbus, 13th century. I think that's 13th century. Let's see. 13th or 15th century. Um, okay, let me go back. Let me go back. I want to go back to that one. So that's the Knights Templar. Okay, 13th, 14th centuries. And actually 15th century. So let's there we go. So that's the 15th century. Notice and conquest of Columbus, 15th century. Notaries accompanied Columbus on all of his voyages to ensure to King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella that all discovered treasures were accounted for. They witnessed noteworthy acts, like when Columbus first beheld the New World in 1492 by landing on San Salvador Island in the Bahamas. So just so as you know, Columbus never really set foot in the Americana Palma, and he did not discover America. But that's another story. Notaries in early America, 1600 to 1800. So in colonial America, only persons of high moral character were appointed as public notaries to certify and keep documents safe. Their contributions to colonial life are largely seen as the reason American business became a huge success. For example, in colonial times, notaries were invaluable to transatlantic commerce. We all know what that is. As parties on both sides depended on them to be honest, third parties in reporting damage or loss to a ship's cargo. Again, we know what that cargo was. While notaries were held in very high regard during this time, life for notaries in early America was anything but easy. Some were even killed for their involvement in authenticating official documents and record keeping as conflicting factions fought for control of the New World. So I kind of stopped it there. Um, Stop share for a minute. I stopped my PowerPoint there, but there is a whole host of information beyond that. Let's see. So some of the little more interesting facts beyond that, between 1872 and 1933, John Coolidge was born in 1845. He was 78 years old when he came to fame as a notary public in Plymouth Notch, Vermont. His son was Calvin Coolidge and was elected vice president under Warren G. Harding in 1921, when Harding died in 1923, which most of you all know the history of the presidents. Coolidge was sworn in as the 30th president of the United States by his father, the only president to ever be sworn in by a notary. Isn't that interesting? Now, also, I want to talk about the history, but it also touches on the importance of our job, even now, where anyone basically in good standing can apply for a notary within the United States of America and be commissioned to serve in its jurisdiction. So um, I can go anywhere in Maryland and, you know, and notarize a document. It doesn't matter. But when you cross over states, you have to have your commission in those particular states as well. So the important thing about notaries is that it is still taken very seriously. I remember a case just a few short years ago where a politician in Hawaii was convicted because she was abusing the notary acts over in Hawaii, if I'm not mistaken. And I'll look that up before we leave here today. Um, so, yes, it's very important that your commission is up to date, that you are not allowing anyone to use your stamps or your stamp at all, that you're not, forging documents. When you, as a notary, are stating that XYZ, this person came before you, presented proper ID to identify who they are. You are held to the fire on that. Okay. Just want you to know this is, even though it's like, it seems like anybody can be a notary, this thing is not to be taken lightly. You cannot notarize for close family and friends. Okay. And that's really a protection for you. So there is no conflict of interest, and you absolutely, absolutely, absolutely cannot notarize documents for yourself. All right. So I've been a notary, like I said, for many, many moons. I was a court reporter, believe it or not. I was a stenographer. So that was like we're kind of like the new age stenographers. Um, when we compare it to, what was started in ancient Egypt. So I was a stenographer, and as a stenographer, we had to become commissioned as notaries because we had to swear in witnesses for depositions, or if we were court reporters or stenographers in the courtroom, the same applied as well. So the only way you could do that is to have your notary commission. And this is why I've been a part of the notary game for so long. Okay. So again, I just wanted to give you like a quick little history lesson on where the origin of notary started, um, how it got started in the Americas, um, and and really who, as a president, or not even as a president, a president's father, Coolidge's father, became a famed notary. So that was a big deal back then. And we have notaries now who are doing great work in the community. I also do community work, but the NNA recognizes certain notaries who are doing a certain amount of community work, um, you know, and just doing any type of renowned, I wouldn't say renowned, but important and very significant work impacting their community. So the NNA, the National Notary Association, recognizes assist notaries for doing those things. Okay, so yeah, so that's our quick lesson for today. There will be more. We'll talk more about what is an acknowledgement. What do you need to do when you are swearing in a person? Because now we have people are attending court virtually. So they need a notary there to verify who they are to the judge in the court, sitting on the court for that day, for that circumstance. So yeah, there's a lot of things that we can do besides just notarize a paper. Some notaries in some states are allowed to be officiants, so marriage officiants. Um, I am a typic title insurance producer, independent contractor, so I am licensed to close loans, mortgage loans, so deeds, refis, buys, sells, HELOCs, home equity loan lines of credits, um, you name it. We can do anything in the mortgage side of things, but so long as you have that title producer's license, and that is not in every state. Maryland absolutely requires it. Um, and in some states, by the way, I'm giving you all the juices. I'm giving you all the tea today. In some states, um, some notaries cannot do loan closings at all. They leave it up to the attorney. So yeah, there's many things you could do, many ways to make money as a notary. So check back. Again, I am Deborah. I'm the founder owner of Impeccable Notary Services, LLC. Please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Happy signing.